Hey guys, how's it going? It's your Dokkan Tuber, back with another video. I hope you guys are doing well. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment for any cool ideas you guys have for us. It's been a while since any Hearthstone stuff has happened, or Heroes of the Storm for that matter. But we recently got the Forge and the Barrens expansion, and it's been out for about a little more than a week, I would say, and it's going pretty well. There's a lot of interesting decks and new things because all the core cards and the last few expansions are removed. So I was gonna make a video before actually the expansion came out, but I thought might as well see how the cards work and then talk about them and their place in the meta. So today we're gonna be doing the first part of 10, actually 11 because neutrals now, and we're gonna do Demon Hunter. So starting right off, we got Sigil of Silence. This is one of two of the sigils. It's a 0-mana spell, shadow spell. At the start of your next turn, silence all enemy minions. So if your opponent already has a minion with like Divine Shield or it's buffed, or maybe even though you're Death Rattle, you play this and they can't really play around or stop it because they don't know, or they can't really avoid it. So it's pretty good in that sense. It's important that this card exists, not necessarily that you put it in your deck, but maybe you can discover it off of something. And it provides an out to a certain situation Demon Hunter can't deal with, because now Demon Hunter doesn't have Consume Magic, which used to be the 1-mana silence a minion, then draw a card if it's outcasted. So this, fills that gap. And this is Furies. This is kind of the replacement for Twin Slice, actually. So it's a new rank spell, and there's a bunch of rank spells we'll go through. They upgrade when you have 5 mana, and they upgrade again when you have 10 mana. And if you discover it off of something, even though it wasn't in your deck, if you have 10 mana, it'll upgrade, so that's also good. And this mana cost stays the same. So this one is a Fel spell. Give your hero +2 attack this turn, upgrades when you have 5 mana. So 2 attack, that's just, similar to Twin Slice. But you don't get 2 of them, so that's important to know. And when you upgrade it, you get 3 attack this turn, and then you get 4 attack for the 10 mana. I think this is pretty weak. I would like to see it being like 2, 4, 6, kind of like the Rogue one, which is called Stab, I believe. So I'm not too much of a fan of this card. But if you get it off of like Wand Maker, let's say, that's a pretty decent effect. And then Tusk Piercer is a new weapon. 1 mana, 1/2 Death Rattle. Draw a Death Rattle minion. So that's pretty nice. I mean, obviously the 1/2, it's not going to be like massively trading with like 2-3 health minions, but it can provide some extra face damage or maybe help with trading something if your minions aren't enough. And drawing a card is good, especially since it's a specific card, so most likely you'll be knowing what you're drawing because it's a Death Rattle minion. And this really helps out with the archetype because your hand needs to have really specific cards for the whole Death Rattle combo to work, as we will talk about. Next up, we got Razor Board, 2 mana, 2/2 Beast, Death Rattle, summon a Death Rattle minion that costs 3 or less from your hand. So this card, if you don't specifically have a Death Rattle minion that costs 3 or less, it's just a 2 mana, 2/2, which is pretty bad. So that's why that weapon we just talked about, the Tusk Piercer, helps with making some consistency for you being able to actually have the Death Rattle minions that cost higher mana, and this one, of course. So I think with the inconsistency of that, just overall, I'm not sure if Death Rattle would be a great deck archetype for Demon Hunter, but we'll see. Then we got the second Sigil, Sigil Flame, 2 mana Fel spell. At the start of your next turn, deal 3 damage to all minions, so your opponent most likely will just, play some cards that generate spells, like Discover. They won't really play minions that are 3 or less health, because obviously they know that those minions are going to be killed. It is 2 mana, so that's important to note, but it also does damage to all minions, so you yourself won't be able to play minions, and you usually want to play this assuming you don't have any minions on the board, especially since it's like an early game card, and you'd most likely be playing like Control Demon Hunter or something. I don't really see this card being that viable. I feel like Shard, Shatter, Mystic, that kind of card is a lot better, but we'll see. Then we got Razorfen Beastmaster, 3 mana, 3/3, Death Rattle, summon a Death Rattle minion that cost 4 or less from your hand. So each one is going up by 1. Same thing with the other ones. This one can summon the Razor Boar and a plethora of other Death Rattle minions. Obviously it's understated, which is a little unfortunate. If it was a 4-3, that would have made this card a little more playable in my opinion. So you could trade into things. And just the fact that you're not necessarily going to have a Death Rattle minion that's 4 or less in your hand at all times, it makes it, so this card doesn't really have any value in those situations. And then you got Vilecaller, 3 mana spell, summon two 2/2 demons with lifesteal. So this is similar to landscaping with Druid, but you get demons and they have lifesteal. So that's good in like a token style Demon Hunter deck. Unfortunately, right now a lot of those cards are gone. Like, what was it called? It's like the 3 mana 3/1 when your friendly minion dies, deal 3 to the enemy face. A lot of those cards are gone, but maybe they'll add some more support for this kind of archetype later on in other expansions, and even perhaps the mini set. So you have to keep an eye out for that. Then we have the Legendaries Kurtrus, Ash Fallen, 4 mana 3/4 Battlecry, attack the left and right most enemy minions. Outcast, he is immune this turn. So you definitely do not want to be playing this card without the Outcast effect. If your opponent has 2 minions, hopefully they have 3 health or less, and this is immune, so it'll live and kill them. One thing to note is that if they have 1 minion, it doesn't attack twice, so that's a little unfortunate. I'm not sure why it doesn't work, but I guess it is what it is. I think he's okay. 4 mana is a pretty high cost for an Outcast card. I'm just thinking about if this card could be used in like an Outcast deck. I just feel like it's a little clunky just for any situation. But you can always get it off Legendaries studies, so that's something to keep in mind. And then Vengeful Spirits, 4 mana 4/4 Outcast, draw 2 Death Rattle minions. Drawing 2 cards for 4 mana is really powerful on its own, and then you get a 4/4 body. That's pretty good. But being understated, like the whole archetype for Death Rattle Demon Hunter is understated, so that's a problem that I'm seeing. And you have to have specific cards, but this helps with making sure that you draw those cards and then triggering the Death Rattles of the Razorfen Beastmaster and Razor Boar. So I think it's like a decent card. It is 4 mana, so it may be hard to outcast, but all in all, it's okay. And the final card is the other legendary, Death Speaker Blackthorn, 7 mana 3/6 Battlecry. Summon 3 Death Rattle minions from your deck that cost 5 or less, so 1 more than the other one. There's not too many Death Rattle minions that are very strong right now. There's like a Death Spawn Acolyte, I think is the name. It's a 5 mana 1/1, summon a 8/8 or 5/8 taunt when it dies. So there are some decent Death Rattle minions. This is like your high end of the deck. I feel like if you don't draw him early enough, it could be really weak because you could have already drawn all your good Death Rattle minions, which is a problem. And he's understated. Maybe if you like give them Rush, but it was just like 4 or less, so it could help you like pose a threat on the board. But I think he's a decent card for that Death Rattle Demon Hunter. So overall, let me go back. I think the Demon Hunter cards are not that strong compared to like how they usually were. I think that's fine. Like the whole Death Rattle package is interesting. It's not good enough yet to be played. Maybe in the future expansions or even the mini set, as I mentioned before. But yeah, it's good that Demon Hunter is not too strong. I would like to see it a little better than this, but who knows? Maybe they'll buff some cards. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the videos. Stay tuned. Turn on your post notifications for the next video, where we'll be talking about the next class.